Good evening, dear viewers. Welcome to this special program we have for you today. As you can see, I am standing inside the Asmara Palace Hotel, where the National Wheat and Maize Conference has kicked off. In the first segment of our program this evening, we will be presenting you the speeches of His Excellency Minister Arefaine Berhe, the Minister of Agriculture of Eritrea, and other keynote speakers. And following the news in English, we will be continuing with the excerpts of the interview that we have conducted today. Thank you so much, and please do stay tuned.
Welcome to the National Wheat and Maize Conference. For the sake of uniformity and solidarity, we ask to put on the caps.
Excellencies, ambassadors, UN resident coordinator, and heads of UN agencies, senior officials from Asareka, Vita International, SSG, ICARDA, and Smith, deans of colleges and high government officials, distinguished participants from outside Eritrea, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. At the outset, I warmly welcome you all, and especially those coming from outside Eritrea, to this maiden conference on wheat and maize. However, as 2023 is the year of millets, please allow me to digress a bit from the main theme. In the Eritrean context, the most cultivated and consumed crop is sorghum, which is a relative of millets. The other widely and commonly used crops are pearl millet and finger millet. Millets, as we all know, have been an integral part of our civilization for centuries, nourishing a large part of humanity. These humble grains are known for their nutritional value, adaptation to diverse climates, with minimal requirement for water and inputs. Distinguished participants, coming back to the theme of today's conference on wheat and maize, the reason why we are focusing on these crops is because of their significant importance. Wheat and maize are undeniably essential grains serving as staples for millions of people, not only in our continent, but all over the world. These crops play a vital role in food security, nutrition, and economic stability. Therefore, it's of utmost importance that we address the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead in the cultivation and utilization of wheat and maize. Distinguished participants, in this conference, we have the opportunity to delve into various topics concerning these crops. We will explore advanced techniques, innovative technologies, and sustainable practices that can enhance productivity while minimizing the negative impact on our environment. Additionally, we will discuss the utilization of wheat and maize in diverse sectors, such as food processing, animal feed, and biofuel production. Distinguished participants, one of the key issues we need to address is the impact of climate change on wheat and maize production. As we witness the changing patterns of weather and increasingly unpredictable conditions, it is crucial to identify resilient varieties, improve irrigation techniques, and promote climate-smart agricultural practices. Through collaboration and knowledge sharing, we can equip ourselves to mitigate the risks and adapt to new challenges. We must also embrace research and development to enhance the quality and nutritional value of wheat and maize. It is our responsibility to ensure that these crops not only meet the growing demand, but also provide vital nutrients for a healthy population. By investing in research, we can fortify these grains with essential vitamins and minerals, combat malnutrition, and contribute to the overall well-being of humanity. Distinguished participants, another aspect we'll explore is the role of technology in modernizing wheat and maize production. From precision agriculture to AI-driven analytics, technology holds the potential to optimize yield, minimize resource wastage, and enhance profitability for farmers. Let us embrace this innovation and empower our farmers with the necessary tools and knowledge to thrive in a rapidly evolving farming landscape. Additionally, empowering small-scale farmers, particularly women and youth, is crucial for the future of wheat and maize farming. Providing access to finance, training, information, and resources will enhance their productivity, livelihoods, and overall well-being. These farmers are the backbone of rural communities, and their success is intertwined with the success of the entire wheat and maize sector. Distinguished participants, as we conclude this conference, let us remember that wheat and maize are not merely crops. They represent livelihoods, traditions, and cultures across the globe. By prioritizing sustainable practices, investing in research and development, and fostering collaboration, we can chart a path towards a resilient, inclusive, and prosperous future for wheat and maize production. Together, let us commit to safeguard the legacy of wheat and maize, ensuring food security for generations to come, and building a world where no one goes to bed hungry. Distinguished participants, as I mentioned in the introduction, wheat and maize are not among the primary staple crops in Eritrea. However, these grains are very important for commercial and household bread almost throughout the country. Of course, the one important factor that should be taken into account is that they need at least supplementary irrigation, adequate fertilizers, and proper cultural practices for good production of at least 6 tons per hectare. At this point in time, let me acknowledge the contributions of ICARDA for the initial introduction and development of several wheat varieties, working very closely with our National Agricultural Research Institute, NARI. I would also like to recognize the Seed Systems Group, SSG, for their tangible contribution in wheat and maize development over the last 3 years. Vita International, with its national counterpart EIDP, have also played a significant role in wheat development. Self-Help Africa also made contribution in wheat development. Asareka's contribution in these 2 crops also deserve recognition. Sincere acknowledgements also goes to the researchers joining us from Ethiopia, Uganda, Kenya, Zimbabwe, and Cameroon. I also extend a special gratitude to CIMIT for supplying the lands required to produce hybrid maize. Thanks to this collaboration, Eritrea, through NARI and Progressive Farmers, is producing its own hybrid maize for the first time. Distinguished participants, this maiden conference is bringing together outstanding researchers and practitioners from inside and outside Eritrea. During the next 3 days, we expect stimulating presentations and discussions, as well as field visits, which will be the basis for articulating the policy and strategy on wheat and maize development in Eritrea. In conclusion, I commend the organizing committee and the Asmara Palace management for a job well done. I thank you for your attention.
We have invited several participants from outside Eritrea, including Ethiopia, Zambia, Uganda, and also international organizations such as CIMIT, which is responsible for maize research, ICARDA for wheat research. These are international organizations which work, research work on these crops. So these organizations are also involved in this conference to present papers, share their experience and the development, what they are doing. For example, wheat is an important crop, international as well as locally here in Eritrea. So we have invited guests from ICARDA, working on wheat, from Ethiopia, working on wheat, which are ICARDA experts here, and also CIMIT experts working on maize. Wheat and maize are very important crops in Eritrea, although they are not the major crops. We know sorghum and barley are, for example, the most important crops. But wheat and maize are also very important in the country. Wheat, for example, although is not widely grown throughout the country, we are now trying to introduce to the lowlanders of Eritrea, Gajiparka, for example, where we have opportunities of land, expanded land in order to irrigation water. So we can expand the potential of wheat production in Eritrea as a whole. We are importing a lot of wheat, flour and grain from outside. So we can substitute this importation by growing local wheat production in the country. This means we are earning a lot of hard currency in the country. Maize also is a very important crop, although it is not really widely grown like maize, like barley and sorghum, for example. Nutritionally, it's a very important crop. The most important thing about maize also, it grows from the lowest areas in the country, the highland area of the country. So it grows throughout the country. So that's the beauty of maize. So it can be grown in every corner of the country. And of course, it requires irrigation. It has to be supplemented by irrigation. And if we do that, we can really improve its production and also its contribution to national food security as well as to livelihood securities, food securities, and nutritional as well, because maize is a very important crop in having nutritional values to families and livelihoods.
Mr. Talab, do you believe this conference will pave the way for exchange of experience from these countries that are attending here at this conference and from ours?
Yeah, absolutely. The main objective of this conference, national conference, is really to share experience. We have done a lot of research work on wheat. We have done several research works on wheat during the past, 10 or 13 years. So we have improved varieties. Although we need to do more, we have several varieties now going on in the country, like Attila, like Pavon, and so on, for example, which has really improved production and productive wheat in the country. And we'd like to share this experience with our partners working internationally, regionally, and elsewhere, so that we share this experience, improve our capacity to the research, to the development on this crop. So we are sharing really good experience. We have a lot of papers now being presented at this conference on various research and development issue on wheat. So this is really a very good opportunity for us to share our experience. On maize, the same thing. So this is really a platform for us to boost production of these crops in future. So that is the plan the ministry is trying to do. Finally, farmers have really to adapt the ways and practices of wheat and maize. The final message I would like to do is to our farmers, who has really to work hard to improve these varieties. Once the ministry, for example, develops a variety, it has to go to farmers for multiplication and increase of production. So every partner, national partner, working in production of these crops should really collaborate very well. So At the end of it, down the road, after some years, for sure, we'll have an improved situation whereby wheat and maize are really important crops and have a contribution to our national and international food security.
Hello again, dear viewers. Thank you for watching our program. We will be right back after this news in English. Hello once again, dear viewers. Welcome to our program this evening. As you can see, I am at the Asmara Palace Hotel where the National Wheat and Maize Conference is taking place. It has started today, 20th of September 2023, and will go on for 3 consecutive days. This is the first day of the conference, and we will be bringing you excerpts of the various interviews we have conducted at the conference.
Thank you. My name is Wuletau Tadessa, lead wheat breeder at the International Agricultural Research Center in the area, Sikarda, based in Rabat, Morocco. So I'm happy participating in this conference, the theme of which is having or making sustainable maize and wheat seed supply system in Eritrea, to make Eritrea food self-sufficient both in wheat and maize production. And I hope the different partners participating in this country, international research centers, national program leaders from the different countries invited, from the seed systems of different organizations, and all actors along the wheat-maize value chain in Eritrea would be able to design strategies how we can achieve this self-sufficiency in wheat and maize technologies in Eritrea.
Okay, I'm Prasanna Buddupalli, Director of Global Maize Program of International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center. I'm based in Nairobi, Kenya. This is my first visit to Eritrea. The conference is about how to enhance the wheat and maize production and productivity in Eritrea. Through partnerships. So CIMMYT has been partnering with the Eritrean National Program on introducing some of our best hybrids and test them together with other local open pollinated varieties which are currently being grown by the farmers. So what I could see from the presentations today is a remarkable difference in terms of yield levels of the CIMMYT introduced materials or hybrids in the farmers' fields as well as on station in Eritrea compared to the local open pollinated varieties. But there is still a lot more that needs to be done. We need to continuously generate new climate resilient varieties that can also tolerate not only abiotic stresses like drought and heat, but also increasing incidence of pests and diseases. And what I have presented today is the opportunity to do so, to develop varieties, improved varieties that potentially help smallholder farmers in Eritrea, not only to realize higher yields, but also withstand the pressures of insect pests and diseases. This is fundamental for achieving food and nutritional security. And maize is a crop which has got a tremendous potential, not only as a food crop, but also as a feed, and also incomes to millions of smallholder farmers in sub-Saharan Africa. So CIMMYT's success in this continent shows that there is a lot that could be done together with the partners here in Eritrea.
Now we have invited distinguished principal scientists that are found within the region, from international research institutions, private seed companies, and so on and so forth. So our main objective is to share the experience of their experience with us. And finally, we are going to prepare a roadmap how we boost our production and productivity for the future.
Well, I think it's a very exciting conference. We're very excited to be here. I brought with me 5 of my team members, some of whom are going to be presenting, some of whom are also just representing the organization to interact with partners here to chart the way forward for seed supply. because as the seed goes, so goes the agriculture. And we've seen already the presentations this morning that highlighted the high yield potential of wheat varieties and maize varieties, which have been identified by NARI, but which are still not yet with the farmers at scale. Some farmers have tested them and they've gotten very good results. Other farmers are yet to reach them. Seed Systems Group specializes in putting in place those delivery systems so that all farmers have access to the seed they need to get the highest yield possible. And we've enjoyed a very fruitful collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture here in Eritrea. I want to commend the Minister for his openness and his willingness to partner with us. And we look forward to a very fruitful collaboration going into the future. I should mention that our work is sponsored by IFAD, the International Fund for Agricultural Development.
Okay, the conference is about wheat and maize supply of seed. And coming from a point of extension, what we look at is how do we increase the demand amongst the farmers so that supply can come, because supply and demand are related, right? And increasing demand with farmers comes from knowledge. How do we increase knowledge with the farmers so that if they're aware of these new varieties that have been they're coming from NAS. So NAS has even a hybrid maize variety, which is great. But how do we get it to the farmer sustainably? The farmers have to be aware of these varieties. They have to want to adopt. So how we do it is, and we've done it here in Eritrea, is to give every farmer a small amount of seed. We call it a small pack. They plant it on their own farm. They experiment, and if when they like it, because we've given them a choice, they can go and buy. That is how now we increase the supply. Yeah.
This is a wonderful conference. This is groundbreaking. Eritrea has been organising through the Ministry of Agriculture, Minister Arefaine, these international conferences that bring the best of science to Eritrea and enhances the government's plan to create food self-sufficiency and create incomes across the country. It's a wonderful occasion and we're very honoured and proud to be here.
Yeah, this conference is very interesting because it's covering wheat and maize development in Eritrea, and these crops are important, perhaps not in total area, but they're very important for food security and feed for livestock. And so improving wheat and maize production is important for Eritrea.
Today we are having the National Wheat and Maize Conference for Eritrea. I think this is a very important conference that brings in all the stakeholders in the seed sector in this country to try and forge a way forward for sustainable supply of maize and wheat, improved varieties to the farmers of Eritrea towards increased productivity of these important crops in the country.
I think, in my view, we would be able to create a strong partnership between national and international organizations and the different actors, and then develop national capacity through training and also building facilities within Eritrea so that Eritrea can develop its own germplasm, improved varieties, climate resilient varieties of wheat and maize. This is one. And build also and train its national maize and wheat breeders, and also build a competitive seed system in Eritrea so that the varieties developed and released will be efficiently multiplied and reach to the farmers. Not only that, also managing the different, the improved crop management practices, seed, fertilizer, improved irrigation mechanisms, and also mechanization. So these all needs to be integrated and well charted. So in the 5 years term, in the medium, short, and long term, what are we going to achieve? So from my perspective, I would like to contribute on the wheat breeding aspect. How can we build national capacities, distribute elite germplasm on an annual basis, and train young wheat breeders in the future? So I hope that is going to be well discussed and streamlined. And we also think that bringing these actors together, we develop key project proposals for key donors so that there will be resource mobilization to capacitate national programs and bring this change we are looking for.
Absolutely. I think a conference of this nature will provide the local scientists as well as the policy makers about opportunities. How we can work together with the international partners, for instance, in introducing best germplasm, in testing that germplasm in the right environments, and in developing and releasing new varieties that suit our local context. So undoubtedly, this exchange of knowledge and experiences globally with the local partners here would be of tremendous advantage.
Okay, so what is the way forward, would you say?
The way forward is to formulate an excellent work plans, invest resources in agricultural research for development, forge partnerships with international organizations and private sector, and help realize improved seed, actually affordable way to go to the smallholder farmers. Farmers need this climate resilient seed at much lower cost than what one can, so they need to be able to afford them. And secondly, we need to make sure that they get better incomes, better livelihoods through those varieties. And it is all possible, as our experience in other countries show.
Well, in person, there are about 27 foreign guests from different countries, about 7, 8 probably. Yeah, Kenya, Ethiopia, Uganda, India, Togo, Cameroon. Yeah.
Most of us, when we are coming to Eritrea, we're like, wow, this is a huge thing for Eritrea and even for Africa, where we showcase the new varieties, we learn what has been done before, we see prospects for the future. It's important for all the stakeholders to be aware of what is NAS doing, what is the seed unit doing, what is Extension doing. Such a conference where all the stakeholders, internal, external, are present is very important in creating linkages for the seed supply in a sustainable way.
Yes, I believe this is a groundbreaking conference. Last year we also had one on potato, but this one really is talking about an entirely new generation of technologies, both in wheat and in maize. And as a maize breeder myself, I have to say I see a huge potential for hybrid maize seed production and supply at farmer level in Eritrea. It's not without its challenges. We have male parents, female parents. We have to cross those in the field. But Negusi Berhe, who is leading this effort from NARI, has done a marvelous job getting it started. And I think he's being supported now by other colleagues in the ministry to take it to scale. And that's a very exciting innovation. We've also been involved with supplying large numbers of farmers with seed of improved wheat varieties, Sidra, Krok, Attila. These are some of the star wheat varieties that have been identified by NARI, produced by Ag Extension Department, and which now are helping farmers to increase their yields through a large part of the country. But we have to remember as well the sorghum and millet farmers in the western part of the country. I think now we need to really focus on those farmers as well in the next phase of work.
Eritrea has a culture of self-sufficiency and supporting the farmers. The ministry works for the farmers in a way that is very unique. The science to back up the ministry is coming more and more to play, and that will result in Eritrea becoming a leader in terms of food self-sufficiency, sustainable agriculture, organic farming, and many things that this world needs very badly. So we hope out of these conferences that we can support the ministry in some small way to take a lead in this globally urgent situation.
Okay, I was looking at maize hybrid seed production in southern Africa, in the SADC states, and we find in those countries about 140,000 tons of maize hybrid seed is produced, but it's concentrated in about 4 countries. That's South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Malawi. A lot of the other countries have very low levels of hybrid seed maize, and we can learn from both sides how to develop the seed sector in those countries.
Exactly, such forums are very important and needed for almost all the countries, where we need to bring the stakeholders together, discuss what has been done, how we can do better, and what needs to be done so that we get to reach our farmers and increase our productivity. So I believe these are very important events, and Luckily, it's the third in Eritrea this year, which I believe it's a good step forward towards increased productivity.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I'm excited to be here, and still I'm enjoying the conference, the way it is organized, the welcoming and the participation of everybody, and seeing also the heroine farmers who have, grown 10 tons and 6 tons of wheat in Eritrea. So I'm having a positive note, and I'm excited also to see what's coming on in the next 2 days.
Actually, they are doing a remarkable job. First time I am coming to Eritrea, and I see the enthusiasm there and the teamwork there in terms of organizing such an event. And I'm sure it will pay a lot of dividends in terms of forming linkages with the researchers, working on different crops, introducing the best germplasm. Ultimately, the focus of any agricultural research program in any country is how to realize better yields, how to improve the incomes and livelihoods of farmers. If a conference like this can pave way, at least in a few crops, to realize that objective, not immediately, it cannot happen overnight, but over a period of 3 to 4 years or 5 years, better varieties released in the country, better adoption of these varieties, then this investment is worth.
With the minister leading the charge and identifying the priorities on behalf of the government, we will not fail to achieve new things. I'm very proud of the team at NARI. They are very dedicated public servants in agricultural sciences. Several other staff members from NARI are currently studying for their MSc at Macquarie University. That is also a very positive sign. When they come back, they will reinforce the capacity there and be able to take these crops forward with more energy and more knowledge. So I think really Eritrea is on a good path to achieving food security throughout as a result of these prioritized interventions on specific crops.
One of the presenters, Neguse, said that the way forward now is within Eritrea. So we, even as external parties, we don't want to be the one doing most of it. So Eritreans working for Eritrea, for Eritrean farmers. And what he said is that now they are working to ensure, one, there is the hybrid maize. They have supply seed companies. The seed companies are coming from farmers who are, I don't know the word that they're using here, but they're outgrowers that now come to supply the seed. So something that I think is a way forward for us. Of course, as an extension, I'm biased to ensuring farmer awareness, but also ensuring that supply of locally produced seed. Because you see, when we import seed, it's expensive, right? And we want things that are affordable for the farmers. So the way forward is to ensure locally grown seed, locally produced varieties are with the farmers.
The way forward is to adopt the very best of global practices, to get better yields from the seed, to support the farmers with holistic agronomic practices, to improve Eritrea's ability to create its own seed, its own supply to the farmers, and not be dependent on global systems.
There's a lot of learning that's taking place here from within the country, what's happening within the country, and from outside, like Ethiopia, Kenya, Zimbabwe, and so on. So there's good information exchange, good learning opportunities, and I think my experience has mostly been on the hybrid maize, where I've been to Eritrea a few times to support this work here. And I'm really encouraged to see the foundation that's been laid and the few steps that are starting to take place to improve local hybrid seed production for the farmers in Eritrea.
This is happening at a very good time where we all need the sense of urgency in responding to the many problems and challenges that are facing our farmers. So, it should have been done quite earlier, but right now where we're converging is a perfect time where we need to forge a way forward. So it's happening at the right time. And these discussions are very important, and we need to have more of these so that we get to bring together our thoughts as the seed actors in the country, for the benefit of our farmers.
I think the way forward to me is continued government support to this initiative on the maize hybrid. The national program is starting to produce the parents and start the initial hybrid seed production. but there's a long way to go, and so training the farmers and including the farmers in seed production, and then marketing that seed to farmers so that they can utilize this improved technology. So I think the process is ongoing, and I think I'm really encouraged to see this progress. And I would imagine in a few years the maize seed system here will be quite transformed.
Exactly. The way forward is creating a sustainable way of getting to improve the seed sector for maize, for wheat, and for the whole other important staple crops in the country, because much of the research has been done. A lot of seed improved varieties are available with the CG centers, with the NARIs, but we need to get a way forward on how do we get these technologies delivered to the farmers. Where I work from, the organization I represent, the Seed Systems Group, we bring the stakeholders together to try to create the linkages between the researchers and the farmers to ensure that as we get the right technologies in agriculture, they are reaching farmers in the right time and being utilized by farmers.
Definitely, yes. This should be carried out on a continuous basis, because there are lots of new genetic gains in maize and wheat every year, and bringing international actors, national breeders, and all participants across the wheat and maize value chain would facilitate to achieve the objectives we are setting at. So in my view, this is an excellent start and should be continued every year. And I would be happy to come next year too.
No, wonderful. I think as I highlighted, there is a lot of work that needs to be done in many countries across Africa. Some countries are better reached, some countries have not been reached. It's important to bridge that divide and make many countries across Africa get the best genetics and best seed systems possible for the benefit of farmers.
I've been so impressed. From the moment we arrived at the airport to right now, it's been fantastic. The welcome, the organization, the people, it's been a fantastic experience so far. And I'd like to thank everyone who's been involved in this. Yeah.
My message is just we're so glad to be here, proud to be here. We want to thank Minister Arefaine and all of the government for their leadership and to invite us here and be a small part of the process.
Yes, for wheat we don't have problem up to now, where the Ministry of Agriculture has already boosting the productivity within the limited area. But for the maize, we have to be able to produce the hybrid locally, the hybrid seed locally, and farmers should at least try to procure at a reasonable price and boost their productivity and supply their families.
The final message is, let us keep up this momentum, working together, creating a strong partnership between national and international breeders, institutes, and collaborate, and then develop big project proposals, as I said earlier, that would bring capacity development. So resource mobilization is key, and this could be achieved through partnership with the different actors. And we need to work on this together. And my message also for the organizers is to identify key people from this audience and build a small committee to achieve such a resource mobilization, because I visited yesterday the main national research platform, and there needs to be more to be done there. So, and that needs the resource mobilization. And for this to achieve, we need to task such task forces to achieve such key objectives. That is my message. Thank you so much.
I've been here a few times, and I love the country. I love the people. They're so friendly, and there's a real sense of wanting to move forward and develop the economy, develop the production, and build the country as the government is trying to do. So it's great. Yeah.
Yes, first of all is to appreciate that we are having this event right now. And my message would be, let's not leave the discussions on the table. Let's get action and take them to where they're supposed to be, to the farmers. We need to see increased sustainability, increased resilience among our farmers, and increased productivity.
When we have such conferences, what it looks like mostly is that there are these high-level people that are, we have fancy words and we're working with a lot of new technologies. The message is that this is about smallholder farmers. It's about their livelihoods. No matter how high level we go, at the end of the day, it's about farmers. Whether it's in Eritrea, in Kenya, all farmers are the same. They all need good seed. They all need improved varieties of technologies. So this is a very good conference because at the end of the day, everyone comes and says smallholder farmers in Eritrea, smallholder farmers in whatever country. So the message is no matter what it is that you're doing, for us, it's about the farmers.